What is up, guys? It's DJ Martini Midwest Reviews and Tutorials. Today's a little tutorial. I just picked up a Talaria XXX Pro 2025 edition. I'm going to be showing you how to put that together the best way I know how and according to how the instructions kind of told me to do it. So you can follow this and hopefully it'll help you a little bit, or at least give you an idea. Some other videos, there's also a good one from Lunicycle to help you if you guys need more help. But hopefully this is helpful to a couple people out there. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna show you the instructions and everything, and then show you all the pieces, pictures, and then kind of just take it step by step on how I can do this. I'm gonna be showing you how to do this by yourself. It's kind of tough. If you can have somebody help you, it would go a little bit faster. All right, guys. All right, so I'm just gonna show these instructions here. So we pretty much followed it to the T. We got the front tire on, we got the clamp on, put that top piece on, got the foot pegs on, hooked up the cables there, and here's what I'm talking about. It shows the pins and how they're supposed to match and everything, so make sure you go through that very easily and go through all that. And then on the back side, like I said, the number plate, we put that on with the zip ties, inflate tires, and then that's what the bike should look like when we get done. Just notice too that you do get your NFC keys as well, the Fender, like I said. The only thing that I don't remember seeing, we got the big washers. You get two little strips here to put on some cable management. You get the two dowel pins if you want to put your, if you want to move the position of your foot pegs, but we put them where the stock options are. And then, yeah, that's about it. So I just wanted to show all that. It is there, and we'll take it step by step, and I'll show you how I did this. All right, guys, I'm gonna go through a quick assembly on this Talaria X3 or XXX Pro. So I just got it I unboxed it, and basically I, took all the plastics off, and you got to do all that so you can get everything exposed here. And then go open your parts box, find your parts box, which I'll show a picture of, and lay everything out there. And I'll kind of help you try to go through that. But it's in the box and it's already secured to the box, so it's not going to go anywhere. So this is actually a good place to go ahead and start doing some of this stuff. And so I just put the clamp on. I'm going to take that off just to show you one thing. And you have this little spacer that it comes with, so make sure you put that spacer on first, and then you can go ahead and put this on. I'm going to go ahead and loosen this up. It's very loose. And then you go ahead and kind of muscle this into place. A little twisting, and you can get that all the way down onto the clamp, onto the spacer. All right, so we're tied there. Now don't like tighten everything. I'm just going to tighten this just a little bit because we're going to do our final thing once we get the front tire on. But all right, so that's tight, and then we can go ahead and start putting our brakes on. And I already have this one on, so you're going to go ahead and have to take these apart, and then make sure you kind of check out where your wires go. I actually have this one there, and then this one's going to have to cross this one a little bit here like that, so make sure your wires are okay. And then, like I said, we're going to take the screws off here. You got to take these all the way off so you can go ahead and place your brakes on. And like I said, I'm just kind of hand tightening everything. Nothing, no super tightening everything, because like I said, I will check everything at the very end. And this is just the way I put stuff together, just so I know everything's good to go. And then we just want to be really careful when we get this, make sure everything's going in really nicely. If anything's caught or doesn't feel like it's going in easy, then take it out and try it again, so we don't strip anything or anything like that. All right, so once these are there, and like I said, at the end, we're going to check everything. But I'm just going to put these kind of where they should be at. Nice and smooth on all the screws. All right. So those are on, and we just haven't hooked them up yet. So we're good to go. All right, next step coming in a second. All right, guys, this is probably the trickiest thing of everything, is getting this little bolt out here, the main hub bolt. So make sure you loosen all these. Make sure these are all loose. These are all very, very loose. And then you're going to need 8mm to go ahead and take this bolt out a little bit. And don't take it all the way out, but I'm going to go ahead and put this back in a little bit right there. Then we're going to hit it with a rubber mallet just to be able to get get that center axle out. So I'm going to tighten this in just a little bit. I'm going to give it a nice little boom. Okay, nice. The axle came out a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and maybe, nope, that's gonna be too much. And so it did come out a little bit. And I'm gonna see if I can get this to come out the rest of the way here. Take that 8mm, and there's just a little hinge on the side. And if I give it a little, but we want to be very careful not to damage this. All right, guys, so I did have a little trouble, but I was able to get it out. That axle, I did have to hit it with a little bit of a punch, and that really saved me because it would not slide out. So if you have anything flat like a punch, if you have any extra issues, I wouldn't use like anything that is flat. You need something that's flat. So if you can use like maybe a really flat-ended hex tool or something, but I did need that to just nudge it out just a little bit and be very, very careful. I wasn't using a hammer. I was using a rubber mallet. So make sure that we are very, very careful with that. I was using a little rubber mallet to get that out, but I did get it out. Was pain. Also know that when that comes out, those forks are going to go down. So you need to make sure that you're kind of trying to hold it a little bit, or if you have somebody that can help you, that's great. If not, just be very, very careful when it goes down to kind of set your forks right. Also, it's good to go ahead, once you have those up, this cardboard comes in really handy to be able to put under your bash guard over here, and it'll prop the bike up if you're doing this by yourself. All right, so now we need to put the front tire on. So there is this little brake spacer, brake pad spacer. I went ahead and I just pulled that on out, or you're gonna have a really hard time putting your wheel in. Also, you need to put these spacers in there. They have a little rubber seal that kind of pushes in and holds them in. So I have one on each side. So make sure you put those in. Then we're going to go down to where your brake is here. And it's going to be kind of hard to get when you're all by yourself. Now, if you have a jack, this would probably be a good time to use it. All right, to get these perfectly, you're gonna go left, right, kind of in order. So you tighten the left one, and then you tighten the right one. And then you tighten the left one, and you tighten the right one. Now, I'd already kind of tightened those, but when you tighten the left one, it's gonna make this right one a little bit loose, and then you can continue to tighten it until you're good to go. Mine are super tight. Make sure they're super tight. You don't want your wheel to fall off. So all good there. I double checked on these ones. I'm making sure that they are tight now. That's tight. It was tight already, but double checking. And then the two pinch bolts are tight as well. Let's go on to the handlebars next. All right, guys. So I kind of got ahead of myself, so I'm sorry, but I connected the brakes and the throttle. So the throttle was green, and like I said, you could tell by how many pins, and the brakes were red. And so I found the red connector here, and then I kind of found the other red connector here, and notice that they kind of split sides there, so you can see which one here. So the red went to red. It has two little pins, and so make sure you guys take a quick look at everything. Don't rush anything, go very slow. And so the reds went together right here, and there's little arrows where they match up, and then you push them together. And then the only other one I had to do was the throttle, which is on this green one here, and it had pins as well, and that went together really smoothly. And then we had the LCD display, which was a all black, went together right here. All black went together, arrows to line up, took a nice little push. And then this was a red one for the throttle, and it took a little push as well, but the arrows lined up and all the pins lined up as well. So just follow the pins and make sure that you just go slow. If you have any questions, just go take a look at the instructions or take a look at some other videos. Sorry, I rushed that, but yeah, the pins just went together pretty easily. So, and then I also put the tightened up my clamp here. So I tightened these. They were already factory tight, so didn't really have to do much. And then I had to tighten once I got my wheel on, I tightened these two bolts, top, bottom, until they were both tight on my wheel here. So let's go ahead and put the foot pegs on. That'll be my next little project. All right, guys, so we got these foot pegs in, but I just want to show you that it's almost easier to do the right one on the back side, because you have to make sure that you don't pinch this kickstand sensor, and you see how much space you really don't have to get in here and tighten these. So you kind of have to flip this, tighten, flip this the other way, tighten, and that way. And the same way with this one, not a lot of room to get to, but I was able to, you know, just slowly get on this side and tighten, but was a little bit of also putting in this clamp here, really easy. Just put it over top, put the accordion. I'm gonna take it out so you guys can see it. It's in there longer than that, but yep, just like that. Tighten these first, top, bottom, till they're tight and aligned for your wheel. And then you just go ahead and put that in. And a nice just hand tight on that. There we go. Nice and hand tight. And then we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put the front fender on. I know some people think front fenders aren't cool. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on. I kind of put it on just to simulate it, see how it looked. And I like it on there. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it on. It does come with these washers. I just dropped one. But yeah, you're just gonna go ahead and go through the bottom here, and you can see what we got here. And they just pop through like this. And we'll go ahead and start one. Now this whole process would definitely be easier if you had somebody helping you to be able to hold some of this stuff. So definitely easier with a pair of somebody, but I understand if you have to do this by yourself, like I do. I'm gonna go ahead and get this one started, line everything up. There we go. Now we can grab another one. And there's a kind of a gap here, so you can kind of see. There we go. Nice. And then I dropped a washer, but you do need this and this. And that's what we're going in to the final back one. And just make sure those are nice and tight. Good turn. All right. And that's how you put the front fender on. Just some last touches. This cover, just the number plate cover just goes on with zip ties. So you just take this side There we go. This side through, kind of fish it back through. Just make sure you're not pinching any wires or anything. And then just zip it tight. There you go. And you just do that 4 times on the faceplate. All right, guys, so I got the Talaria here, almost done getting it all put together. We got the tires on, we got the pegs on. I just checked once I got all that together. We put the pegs on. I put air in the tires because I noticed that they were low. This says that it takes 36 PSI, so I put about 34, just so it's not as bumpy for me. But yeah, I put about 34, but 36 is what you're supposed to be putting in it. That's up to what everybody wants to do, their preference, but make sure you put air in the tires so you don't pinch a tube or get a flat tire right away because you forgot to put air in the tires. Pegs on. I went ahead and just checked the charger just to make sure that the charger it provided worked. Plugged it in, put in there, gave it its first charge up to 100%. It was already fully charged, which I'm really impressed in. So we got that done. Everything's charged up, ready to go. And I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the last things on that and go take it for a ride. Hopefully I'll be doing a complete review on this here pretty soon. I'm super excited with the Talaria